When Okaron's name was revealed to be Takakura-kin, I knew this will be a manga that I would like. Like most of you, I found about DanDaDan through Chainsaw Man's mangaka Tatsuki Fujimoto, and with glimpses of the manga panels, I was already intrigued by the art style and the creature designs. DanDaDan has an amazing first arc. The scene starts with Ayase Momo's kid. We find that she is smitten with Takakura-kin, a celebrity crush. While walking down the school alley, she sees a nerd getting bullied. Immediately, she stops the act, exclaiming that the world is full of scum. Momo is full of personality that will never ignore injustice. However, it's not like she wanted to be friends with him. I like Momo's introduction because she is blunt but not rude. The nerd is very passionate about UFOs, which unsurprisingly doesn't interest Momo. They get into an argument about UFOs and ghosts, leading to a bet to see who finds them the quickest. Momo travels to an abandoned building while the boy goes through a tunnel. Inside the tunnel, the boy meets Turbo Granny, and the first thing it says is this: I love how absurd DanDaDan can get. Momo also stumbles into these eerily human-like creatures who want to have sex with her. The phone rings, summoning Turbo Granny, who immediately is hostile to the aliens. The boy is crushed to a wall where he confesses why he loves aliens. He did not have any friends, so at least in his mind, aliens might want to be friends with him. I like Okaron because even if he is a coward, he never gives up. Momo was also made fun of because of similar reason. A connection was made because they faced similar adversities. Relationships are built upon common interest. I love how at first they hated each other, but as time passed, they gained each other's trust and affection. It is one of the few shonen where the couple is the main focus. I believe it to be the best example of a romance from a shonen. At the end of the chapter, the name of Okaron is revealed to be Takakura-kin, and we leave it off with this double spread. It was a satisfying reveal and gave a rewarding feeling to finish chapter 1. They return to Momo's house, change outfits, and then meet another monster. Okaron, with his cool transformation, gets into a conflict with the sumo monster. This time around, it is Momo that is crushed to a wall. I love the art in the manga because you feel the weight of the threat through it. The perspective drawing also commands attention to the main subject of the panel. Sometimes it's done through confined areas like rooms and tunnels, or even parts of the subject like hair, intentional spirals in the mouth, or an impact through objects. It creates depth and makes the panel even more of an eye candy. I also like how thick the outlines are in the manga. I do appreciate light bordered art style, but I have always been a sucker for dark outlines. My favorite manga in terms of character design is Twilight Bound Hanako-kun because of how thick the outlines can get. Another thing I like about the manga's art is the outfits. Streetwear is not something you usually see in manga. DanDaDan has street fashion, and every arc introduces new outfits, making each arc refreshing. The last thing before returning to the plot is the stylized art of DanDaDan. Oftentimes, you see characters illustrated outside the panels, creating an illusion of coming off the screen. It finds a way to make the movements fluid, just like an animation. Also, all the goofy faces characters make are funny and adds a charm to DanDaDan. Returning to the plot, they defeat the monster. However, after Momo loses consciousness, the disjointed self of Okaron preys on the resting body of Momo. Step by step, Okaron closes the gap with her, but then she is saved by her grandmother. Oh my god, is the grandmother hot! Momo wakes up, frantically searching for Okaron, and gets peace of mind when she meets him. I do like how Okaron's hairstyle changed. It's otaku-like but attractive as well. I think the streetwear is amazing, but the traditional attire also looks beautiful. Again, monster design is elite. They return to the tunnel, meeting Turbo Granny, and agreeing to a bet to find who is the fastest. To beat Turbo Granny was hard enough, but to make matters worse, another crab monster joins the chase. This panel was a great showcase to understand the limits of Okaran's powers. While running, one monster turns to 3, which turns to 13, amassing to thousands. That depiction was creepy and set the tone of the chase immensely. Momo grabs a train, escaping from them. However, the crab also jumps and lands on the train. Using her psychic powers, she defeats the monster. It should have been a triumphant win, but that wasn't the case. Momo, Okaran, and the grandmother return to the tunnel and pray. Here we learn that the crab monster targeted young girls and the granny was protecting those girls. To redeem a character like Turbo Granny is a telltale sign of a good writer. It makes you question that if Momo and Okaran swapped places, would any of this even happen? We pan to the next day with Momo twirling her hair, waiting for Okaran. A shoulder nod to the next arc. What an amazing ending to the first arc of DanDaDan. I love how this arc characterizes Momo and Okaran where nothing they do comes out of left field. Arc 2 starts where we left off, missing each other and wanting to talk about aliens they want to meet as soon as possible. Moving past crowds, going to their respective classes, even cafeterias they just could not meet. In their fields, without attention, they wander around, accidentally kissing each other. Momo's classmates start to tease her, so she avoids talking to Okaran. Seeing this, Okaran says, "Is it embarrassing being friends with me?" Sad Okaran runs off from her and meets the new character in DanDaDan, Shiratori Aira. She is a narcissist and mocks him for being a nerd. Momo is not okay with it, throwing a towel at her. With no hesitation, she loudly affirms that Okaran is appealing. Momo apologizes to him for being a jerk. Accepting the apology, he tells the reason for trying to meet Momo. His balls are missing. Laughing out loud, Momo and her grandmother try to understand why they are missing. Amidst this, Turbo Granny is transferred to a mannequin Neko. Who doesn't love a mascot character in the manga? They search for the balls but could not find it at all. The next day, Okaran hears a rumor about Momo and immediately gets pissed off about it. Due to the people surrounding Okaran, he gets conscious of Momo's beauty and distances himself from her. She doesn't like how he ran off, but she learns that he defended her. We find out that Aira has Okaran's balls and due to this can see otherworldly objects. Turbo Granny explains that Aira is in danger of getting attacked. Aira misunderstands that Momo is a devil and tries to exorcise her. I love how our friends don't know what they are doing in this scene. Just makes the world within DanDaDan feel more human and real. While doing this, a monster swoops Aira into her clutches. Okaran and Momo rescue Aira, though Turbo Granny confirms her death. The monster chooses to give her aura to save her. With the transfer, Momo learns how it became a monster. This backstory doesn't have a single dialogue, but it nails the emotion it was conveying. Not much has to be said looking at this panel. The only salvation in the mother's life was her daughter. She was the only beam of light in her dark life. The only time she has a smile is when she is with her daughter. Her daughter wanted to be a ballerina, and even if the finance was not stable, she still wanted to buy a dress for her. However, one day, some guys go to their home and take away the only joy she had in her life. How she died was so difficult to watch. Spirits linger on earth due to regrets, and this exploration in the backstory is some of the most depressing things I have read in a manga. Only Aira calls her a mother. She sees her daughter in Aira. Grumbling away, she says, I wanted to buy you cuter clothes. I should have played with you more. If you hadn't been born, my child, you might have been happy. I made you miserable. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That has got to be the saddest words a mother could utter. In her last moments, Ira hugs her, calling her mommy, I love you. This backstory was depressing but beautifully written. In a better world, may they be together. I was so affected by this backstory, and this is where I fell in love with the manga. It assured me that many more heart-wrenching and beautiful story plots are on the horizon. The backstory also made Ira much more likable, and the next arc furthers that sentiment. We get this hilarious scene of baseballing a ball into Okaran. He finally has gotten one of his balls. On the next school day, Momo asks Okaran to have lunch with her, though Okaran rejects her invitation. He did so for training so that he could protect the people whom he cares for. This is why I like Okaran. A lack of confidence doesn't mean you have to be cowardly. Outside the school premise, where he had been training, he gets into an argument with Ira, tripping them to fall like this. Momo sees this and obviously doesn't like that at all. Beating herself up, she is depressed by their actions. While this was happening, the school was under attack by a Loch Ness monster. The beast fires off a light beam, barely missing Momo. On the other hand, Okaran and Ira also face a boxing monster. Okaran protects Ira from the punch. Transforming, he plans to defeat the monster, but the aliens from Chapter 1 return and use their psychic powers to push him into the ground. The situation seems dire for Okaran, but then it's the turn of Ira to transform. Spinning like a torpedo, she kicks the aliens, maintaining distance between them. I love that her fighting style stems from ballerina techniques. Also, catching a shot while conducting the moves seems practical, which is much appreciated. Now, it's Ira's turn to get squashed into the wall. Once again, the situation seems unwinnable as both of them can't seem to get past their psychic abilities. However, help in the form of Ayase Momo arrives. We get this awesome dance-like sequence between Okaran and Ira, which by no surprise doesn't sit well with Momo. Again, the perspective drawing of the manga is so good. Even the panels are margined creatively to add depth to the scene. The hallway starts to fill with water, and underneath we see the Loch Ness monster in its true glory. At this time, instead of stretching the misunderstanding between Okaran and Momo, he comes clear with her, saying he can be misunderstood by anyone but her. After that, Momo creatively uses her powers to use Okaran as a jet ski. He blasts off and grabs Ira, who was drowning. Our team is back together, facing Nessie for the final time. They are launched into the sky, falling into the water. Momo uses the spirit bomb to make the monster destroy itself. At the same time, Okaran launches and passes straight through the monster. Finally defeating the monster, they go back to reality where students see them in this situation. They are very embarrassed, but at least they have their lives to live. Okaran finally explains the misunderstanding to Momo. They go back to their usual lovey-dovey selves. Ira also comes clean that she spread the rumors about Momo. This is used for someone conscious about their popularity. Momo assures her that she will never be annoyed and understands that Ira was never the one to spread the rumors. Ira's entire story arc was handled adequately. In this conversation, they also tend to the wounds of the boxer. Again, love all the outfits of the main cast in this scene. The reason the boxer was harming our gang was because he wanted money to cure his sick son. Although healing his son was much more easier than expected. We end Arc 3 with the introduction of Gigi, another character essential in the story of DanDaDan. I cannot wait to discuss the coming chapters with you. If you want to come along the journey of DanDaDan with me, like and subscribe. But for now, this will be Dungeon signing out.